Fox 10 Talks starting now at 2:30. We appreciate you joining here. And again, this is a live show, so put your questions, your comments right into that chat, and we'll certainly try to get to it.
Keep it clean, folks. Keep it clean.
Brian Webb here with me. We'll leave the dirty stuff for the end of the show, and boy, do we have some surprises.
We do.
Very revealing today.
Very revealing.
How to beat the heat. Some people have.
Yeah, and let it all hang out, and full moon in the middle of the day, sun's out, buns out. I mean,
Beauty's only skin deep. We'll get to all that later on.
We promised that yesterday. I felt bad.
Did.
We left people hanging, and we ran out of time.
A tease, if you will, for sure. But one we'll hopefully deliver on today.
Okay.
But a lot going on in the news world. We've been following the Tyler Robinson trial that's happening in Provo, Utah. He's accused of murdering Charlie Kirk September of last year. And day 4 of what is the evidentiary hearing happening. And I think we've seen so much today that we were expecting to see earlier in the week. The exchange with Tyler Robinson's ex-lover and roommate, Lance Twiggs, that was a big focus of the state today.
And he's going to turn evidence against his former partner.
Yes,
it sounds like he's
setting up to be the star witness of the cases that will play out.
All right.
But joining us now is Josh Kolsrud. He is attorney and former federal prosecutor. We always appreciate his perspective. Josh, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And with what happened so far today in court this morning, first we saw Lance Twiggs for the first time explain how he was getting to know Tyler Robinson, their relationship, which I believe was a month, he said, moving in, and then the communication between the two that day.
I was surprised to even hear from him because if you remember, earlier on in the preliminary hearing process, the state made a motion to just submit the statements as opposed to having him there live to testify. So it's a huge about move, where a 180, so to speak, where at a preliminary hearing, the prosecution and the defense, they don't have to abide by hearsay rules. And here, again, the state was only going to produce the statements, which is smart. You don't want one of your witnesses to be cross-examined and to kind of be painted into a corner. So it's going to be really interesting to see now what kind of questions the defense asks. What exactly do they cross-examine him about? I'm fascinated to see exactly what their relationship was like, and specifically, what did Twiggs know? It appears that he knew that Tyler Robinson didn't like what's his name?
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk. Sorry. But I think that it's coming out that he didn't know he was going to be assassinated.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing here. And one of the things as well that's coming out is that there's a procedure called use of immunity, meaning that the state has granted immunity for Mr. Twiggs only for the statements that he's giving. It doesn't mean he can't be prosecuted. It just means that the statements that he's given can't be used against him in future prosecutions.
So not necessarily out of the goodness of his own heart, but he's getting a break here if he comes forward with some evidence.
Oh, there's definitely some pressure. I have no doubt that he would not help out the law enforcement, but for that pressure coming down.
Yeah, let's talk.
Well,
let's see
actually, if we could, I got the soundbite ready.
Okay, great.
If we could play SOT 2. Now, this, Josh, as you mentioned, he does have immunity in this case, at least on the limited part here for what it is. But we started to see that text exchange between them. This is the day that Charlie Kirk was killed.
Yeah.
And after which he had already told in that initial exchange, this is me. I did this.
Yeah.
In here.
It's an interesting exchange.
Yeah.
And, I've read it many times. And if you go on YouTube and you look up these specific statements, you'll actually see people perform them to show how ridiculous these statements are.
Right.
Because people just don't talk like this.
Yeah.
And on YouTube, there's this one skit where they're like in medieval times, and it almost sounds like this could be something that how you talk in medieval times.
Very outlandish.
And I know other people have said this on other shows, but it kind of reminds me of Breaking Bad, the last episode, when Walter White calls his wife when he knows that he's being recorded, and he wants to make sure that she doesn't get in trouble for any of the help that she's had in his drug empire. So he confesses to her over the phone, almost like she didn't know what was going on, when all the viewers know that she did know what was going on. But that's for the benefit of the FBI that was recording it. And that's because Walter White wanted to control the narrative.
Wink,
and
wink.
yeah, and this kind of seems like that. I'm not saying that, necessarily this isn't, accurate and true, but, having looked at these types of cases for 19 years, there is a red flag here as to the authenticity and genuineness of that conversation.
How do you tackle that, though? I mean, it's there in black and white.
You can do it in a couple ways. Number one, you look at the circumstantial evidence. I mean, was Mr. Twiggs on Discord where they were actually discussing the assassination? Because for everybody that doesn't know, Discord is this gaming server where people can talk like text message online, and it's not just for games, but it's a common place for people to go. And there was a group of 19 or 20 people who were talking about Charlie Kirk and bad things that they wanted to see happen to him. And it was initially thought that everybody in this Discord group could be prosecuted because after he was assassinated, let's say for example somebody said, if you get caught, I'll publish your memoirs. That's actually aiding and abetting, and you can charge them with aiding and abetting. And it's one way that the government is able to force people to testify, because they'll say, if you don't testify, because you said that you would publish his memoirs, you're now going to be guilty of a felony. So we want you to testify to what was going on.
Yeah.
So I want to know whether Twiggs was part of this. I also want to know whether the first person who was arrested at the scene of the crime, do you remember there was an older man who was claiming that he was the one that shot Charlie Kirk, that he was the assassin. His name was, I think, George Zinn. And he was later arrested and prosecuted for child pornography that was found on his phone. But he also said that he wanted to create a distraction, which he did. He created a distraction so law enforcement was focusing on him. And so I want to know, was he on Discord? Did he know anything? Or was this a situation really of just a lone shooter? Like, who else was involved? And we might get some of that today and tomorrow during this testimony.
Let's play that soundbite if we can real quick. Just the exchange, like you were talking about, the language what they're using is pretty apparent here.
And Tyler says, I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. And then Lance replies, you weren't the one who did it, right? And Tyler says, I am, I'm sorry. Lance says, I thought they caught the person. And then Tyler says, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude and interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering.
If we could scroll down to page 3. Continue reading.
And Lance says, why? And Tyler says, why did I do it? And Lance says, yeah. Tyler says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything in the news about them finding it. We'll update you shortly, or Charlie, we'll update you by midnight.
Asking questions there, Josh.
That's
he's playing along.
Exactly. That was kind of my point to bring up, is that initially it had already been flagged. I did this. This is me. Mm-hmm. And you had this long exchange of where's the gun? Where are you going to go? When are you going to go and get it?
Yep.
And you just see this kind of probing, and it looks very much like they're aware of the crime, and they're not guiding per se, but looks suspicious that there's some cooperation there.
It seems to me that there are questions that you would see on what we call a confrontation call. And a confrontation call, we use it a lot in sex crimes or sex abuse cases, where we'll have the victim call the perpetrator and say something, and this will be a recorded call, and say something like, what you did to me was horrible. I just want an apology. That's all I want. And then the perpetrator will be like, all right, fine, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What are you sorry for? I'm sorry I did this and this and this. And then you have the confession right there. And this kind of reminds me of how those confrontation calls play out. And again, I'd be really interested to see if there was law enforcement who was in the room when that was happening. I don't think anybody's asked that question yet, because it does seem kind of scripted. And that's not to say that Tyler Robinson didn't do this, but really, did Twiggs know anything about this?
Yeah.
How much of an accomplice was he? And I think law enforcement is very good at finding those things out, because, the stuff that you put on your cell phone doesn't go away. I know a lot of people think that it does. You can erase it, you can double erase it, you can have vanishing stuff. It's all stored in different servers. So all that information is going to be found out. And also the Discord stuff, was Twiggs a part of that? Because it apparently, Tyler Robinson gave a lot of incriminating information on that server to those people. So that's another thing that is going to unfold pretty soon.
We've got about 1 minute or so, Josh. Can I ask you just a general question?
Sure.
All your experience, when people do big bad things, do they do them alone? I mean, in general terms, the famous one is the JFK assassination. Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but in general, do people usually tell somebody before they do it, or is that just blowing in the wind?
People are social creatures, and we're not solitary. And I think that there's almost something in our DNA that wants to share information, especially huge things. There is another. When you started talking about big crimes, I was thinking about Timothy McVeigh, the letter bomber and stuff. They were solitary, supposedly, where they did those big things on their own. Also think about Butler when Trump was almost assassinated the first time. From what we know from that, it's only a solitary shooter. So I think with assassinations, it's almost like a hybrid. So I think most of the time you're correct, but with assassinations, it just seems like history has shown that, at least from the people that we catch, it does seem it's kind of like a lone wolf a lot of the times.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be continuing to track the cases that's happening. Again, that hearing is still happening in court right now in Provo. At 3 o'clock, stick with us, because we have a witness to the crime, a woman who was in that crowd that day when Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. She was also in court this week and had a touching moment with Charlie Kirk's widow. But on the other side of this break, we're going to have Josh stick with us, and the issue of nearly $13 million, a winning lottery ticket, and a corporation that says that's their ticket, and the battle with the people who say it's theirs.
Hey, welcome back to Fox 10 Talks on, what is it, Thursday afternoon?
It's Thursday, Brian.
Live from
Yeah.
Sometimes I get lost in the shuffle there. I know it's daylight. That's a good start, right?
A lot happening.
There's a daylight out there.
And you're just never the same man after your experience yesterday, which we'll get to at the end of the show.
Gosh, all right. Yeah, hold on for that one. So we're starting a little early today, 2:30. We had a great discussion about what's going on with the Charlie Kirk assassination and the preliminary hearing that's going on there. But we have a crazy interesting case. Who doesn't love a scandal involving the lottery?
Yes.
Especially when $13 million is up for grabs.
Exactly.
And Josh has been talking to us about other cases. He's our legal expert, Josh Kolsrud. And talk us through this one, guys. You guys know more about this than me.
So Circle K, there's a lottery ticket that ended up winning $12.8 million in Scottsdale at this particular store. Can you set up exactly? I know it was a little bit complex as far as how the ticket initially got picked, those numbers, where it got printed, and how it wound up in court.
Yeah, I reported a lot on this case doing legal analyst, and I always thought it was very fascinating about what happened and what we didn't know yet. And I really wanted to find out what happened with the store clerk and the store manager and what was their story. And one day he showed up at my law firm and asked me to represent him. And then I found out everything. So here's the story. On November 25th of last year, there was a lottery and the jackpot was $12.8 million. Somebody had gone into Circle K that day too and requested $85 worth of tickets. But she only had $60 on her. Now, the store clerk who printed out the tickets, also my client, accidentally printed out all $85 worth of tickets. So when the lady left, she left $25 worth of tickets on the table or next to the cash register. Now, those tickets were still available to purchase by anybody in the public. And the next morning, they were still available to purchase. And my client, the store manager, Robert Galitza, comes in. And Circle K's policy is that all remaining tickets that have been accidentally printed are the responsibility of the person who either printed them or the store manager to purchase them as a punishment. And this happens in the gaming industry as well, like on horse tracks and race tracks. If a clerk accidentally prints out tickets and they go unsold, they're responsible. They have to buy those. Circle K has the same policy, and that's it's in our answer that was filed today. And so Robert, the store policy at Circle K is the store manager can make his own hours, and they're not supposed to buy tickets when they're on duty. So he clocked out, changed his clothes, came back in, purchased the ticket with it was a $10 ticket. He got a receipt, and then clocked back in. Now, he also decided to share the winnings with my other client, who printed out the ticket accidentally. Robert wanted to do the right thing. And you also know they want to do the right thing because he called his supervisor as soon as this happened and said, "Hey, boss, I want to make sure that I'm following the rules here, the policy." And he explained exactly step by step what he was going to do. And he said, "Is this okay?" And the district manager said, "Yes."
Before they knew the amount?
Before. Before.
That's
something that is a big
key
deal.
detail, Brian.
And Robert is like, "Really? I just want you to know this because it's the $12.8 million ticket that I'm talking about." And then the district manager is like, "Whoa, hold on.
That handbook might not apply to this."
Yeah, let me look into this. And Robert still wanted to do the right thing, and so he gave the ticket to Circle K to hold. He basically said, "Tell me what you want to do. I want to do the right thing." Robert had been working at Circle K for 20 years on and off. He started as a cashier and then worked his way all the way up to a store manager position. And, Circle K thought he was good enough to do that and certainly had a lot of trust in him. Anyway, fast forward 2 months, and on January 30th, 2026, Robert received a phone call from Circle K, and they told him that they were firing him because they said that he violated their policy, the same policy that Robert says that he followed. So, in Robert's mind, he is being punished for doing the right thing. And that's what this case is really about. When Robert came into my office, he was beside himself, and he said, "All I want is for my name to be cleared." He's like, my name has been dragged through the mud. There's only 5 of us in the United States, and I've ruined it for all my family. I don't care about the money. I just want people to know that I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Can he still get the money?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
he can.
What's the state of the money right now?
So right now, the Arizona Lottery has basically said, look, we're going to do whatever the judge tells us to do. And Circle K filed what's called a motion for a declaratory judgment, asking the court to declare who the lottery ticket belongs to. And Circle K filed a complaint, and then we filed our answer and counterclaims today, and asking for a jury trial. So, we're hoping that this case, within the next year or so, will go before a jury, and we'll let a jury decide who the ticket belongs to.
Can I ask about the woman who ordered all those tickets in the beginning? Is she still in the mix?
Oh,
and
she
is she
is.
just mad
Oh, yeah.
because she picked this pile? Literally, did she pick this pile, and that pile is where the winning ticket was?
She's unfortunately the biggest loser in the case. She is a party in the case, but I'm not going to speak for her.
Sure.
But once you abandon a ticket, and the facts appear to be that she did, you lose the opportunity to claim that it is your ticket. But she is a party, and I don't know if she's represented by counsel yet, and they're certainly entitled to a defense.
Do people lose tickets all the time? Could
They
she
do.
claim that? Oh, I just misplaced it. I don't know. Some squirrely little wiggle room.
There could be a variety of explanations, but I'll tell you, there were tickets that were available next to the cash register for anybody to purchase. So this wasn't some type of insider trade or dealing. And anyway, it's a fascinating case. When I first heard about it, I kind of felt like this would be a great bar exam question for lawyers. Wouldn't it? I mean,
it would be perfect.
You have to try to decide like who it belongs to, but now you have some new facts, and now who
Yeah.
it does it belong to? Now you have some employment law issues. I mean, what's going on
It's not
here?
just like when Trenton bought the ticket and said, "Oh yeah, I'll give you half," and then he won, and then he disappeared on me.
We're not really that close, folks, despite what you see.
Oh, good stuff, Josh. Appreciate
love
that.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
it'd make a good movie script,
Right.
It
that
would.
someone like our friend Hans Peterson
Exactly.
could talk about
Perfect
Yeah.
at a
timing.
later date.
We need a happy ending, though.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Well, there was a movie. Thanks, Josh, for being here.
Sure, thank you,
There
guys.
was a movie in the '90s I remember with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
and Rosie Perez called. I think it was "It Can Happen." Pretty interesting.
Oh,
there
this
in
Scottsdale story, yeah.
Yeah. If we want to put that up real quick. Yeah.
There it is.
There it is. That's the one. But anyways, Nicolas Cage is the NYPD cop.
I remember.
Rosie Perez is the waitress. They said, "I've got enough for half this lotto ticket. You want to go in on it?" They do. It hits.
They
And
win.
then they kind of have a relationship, but then money over love. How does it split?
How did it end?
I believe they both walked away happy with the winnings.
Their own money. They didn't stay together.
I can't remember if
I
they
remember
stayed
Rosie O'Donnell was pissed.
Perez,
She's
you
the
mean?
Perez.
Yeah.
Sorry. She's the husband of Nicolas Cage wife of the in the movie.
Yes.
And she
We've
was
lost
mad.
the plot, folks.
She was mad that he didn't keep all
Right,
the money.
exactly.
He's gonna give it to some.
Because then I think there was another waitress or woman involved, another romantic interest of. Am I getting this completely wrong?
No, I think you're right. I messed it up. All right. Rosie
yeah.
Perez.
Well,
My bad, Rosie.
something happened.
Yeah.
Our experts sent a file to totally smash
It was a
us
great
on our
movie.
facts.
It was a great
It was so
movie.
sweet.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that in years.
He's here.
Yeah.
This one comes out this week.
Hans Peterson, tell us about it.
It's called Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass.
Okay.
Yeah. Gail's a bride-to-be in Kansas who has a deal with her fiance that you can have sex with one celebrity of your choosing, but he takes her up on it. And so her world is rocked by this. She takes off for Hollywood with her friend Otto. They end up tangling with some gangsters. They meet up with 3 friends, and they ultimately decide she should just have the sex with her celebrity crush, John Hamm. So they're out to find John Hamm so she can have sex with him and save her marriage.
Is John Hamm
evidently.
in the movie?
To
He's
save her
totally in the
marriage.
movie.
Totally
Yes,
in the
to
movie.
save her marriage. They even pass these out at the screening. Celebrity
is that?
Celebrity Sex Pass.
Sex
Your
pass.
own,
there,
if you-
right?
That's
Exactly.
like a
Just fill it
popular
out.
thing, right, with a couple. You have a pass.
Yeah.
And it's usually a celebrity.
Right.
But the chance of you actually doing it is almost zero.
Does the pass work with local celebrities Fox 10 celebrities.
I think it's
Who
only
knows?
national.
Find out. Join us in the chat.
The only thing about that, you have to get the celebrity to want to do it too, right?
And
Well, I
that's the
think it's in your
challenge.
contract is
Do you
and
have
other
to?
duties and responsibilities.
Oh, I didn't
maybe.
read that.
And that's the
very
challenge.
honest.
Good
yeah.
to know.
And this is one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah, good
Everybody
premise.
was
Which
laughing
is
a lot
interesting
during the
because
screening. It
comedies
really was.
had a rough ride.
Yeah. And I thought this was like an indie rom-com. It turned
Yeah.
out to be like screwball, nutty,
Who's the actress in
comedy.
it?
And Zoe Deutsch is in it. She was in
Oh,
Before
right,
I Fall,
Daughter
juror number
of-
2, daughter of...
The woman from
You told me, I didn't know.
Leah Thompson.
Oh yeah,
from,
that's right.
Wow,
Right,
Back to the
that's
Future.
true. Yeah,
Back to the Future.
She's great in this, and she's like a grounding
Calvin Klein.
influence.
I love him.
And she's, and she's got a real like bubbly appeal. She's great in this.
Yeah, she's
And,
cute. Okay.
And this is also the whole thing is loosely based on a classic Hollywood movie of the 30s. I won't say what it is, but it's a lot of fun
There
just
were
to
celebrity
realize.
hall
what it is.
Give us your
passes in the
guesses.
30s.
I know, right.
Was this phrase hall pass even a thing in the 30s?
And there are a ton of celebrities in this. I counted at least a dozen
It would be
celebrity
a great
cameos. in this.
cameo thing.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
John
there's a
Hamm
lot
like
of that.
cameo or like?
Oh
really?
no, he's in it. He's in
Is
it.
there a sex scene with John Hamm?
Oh, I don't want to say
my
that, but
God.
it's definitely. Let's just say
Wow.
it's over the
John
top
Hamm is
comedy.
living his best life.
He
is
is.
he not? I mean,
Yeah, it's all been on the up and up for John
well,
Hamm.
right? Well, from what I understand, he struggled for a long time in
Yeah.
Hollywood before Mad Men.
Living in his car.
And then
Yeah.
now he's on like just cameos on this show, Larry David show. I saw him on one time, and then he's doing this.
Friends and Neighbors.
Friends, he did the
yeah,
Fletch
such a great.
remake. and, he's everywhere. He's just lapping it up.
He definitely is trying out his comic chops on this one, and it's definitely like a parody of the Hallmark movies, that kind of have the ludicrous premise.
Yeah.
Only in this, it's like they just lean into the ludicrousness of it all.
Yeah.
Couple minutes to break. Tell us about Minions,
Minions
and Monsters. For the family.
Yeah, this just came out last weekend. And I should mention, Gail Daughtry has an 80% critics rating. This one has an 89% critics rating, but Minions only has a 76% audience rating, which kind of says something about the fact that maybe critics love it more than audiences, which is probably because it's really like a love letter to old-time Hollywood cinema. Kind of surprised me. This is the 7th film in the Minions franchise. It's
People
evidently
love Minions.
they do. It's the biggest animated franchise there is, evidently. But it's a standalone movie, so you don't have to see any other Minions movie to enjoy it, which is good because I haven't seen anything since Despicable Me 2, I think. you know.
So when you say old Hollywood, like the old Hollywood monsters, or just like sci-fi?
Just old Hollywood, the silent era of all things,
Really?
which is kind of surprising. Yeah, I mean, it starts out, it's like centuries ago. They have this conjuring book where they learn how to conjure monsters. Fast forward a bunch of time later, they're in 1920s Hollywood. They wreak havoc, they destroy things, and it's all caught on camera, so it turns them into movie stars. The
And
studios
Minions
are
don't
like,
talk,
we love
so that
this.
works for the silent
It works for the silent era, but then
Okay.
the talkies come around and no one can understand what they're saying because it's like gibberish mixed with a little Italian and
How many
Spanish.
careers did talking?
Right. Rudolph,
many.
Yeah. Rudolph
But-
Valentino.
We got our hall
Yeah,
pass.
it's celebrity
All right,
sex
there you go.
pass. So yeah,
Next
Hans
this
Peterson,
is a lot of fun.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Minions and Monsters
Have
is
you
a
on
great
soon.
one. Yeah, cool.
Okay, stick around. Again, we are talking the Tyler Robinson evidentiary hearing that's happening. A woman who was there the day Charlie Kirk died. That's up next. Fox 10 Talks.
Hey, welcome back to Fox 10 Talks, everybody. You're looking at a live look. This is the evidentiary hearing for the assassination of, I want to say Tyler
Charlie
Robinson.
Kirk,
He is the
yeah.
defendant. Charlie Kirk
Yeah.
is the one who was
Yeah.
killed. It's happened in Utah. Was it almost a year ago?
2025 in
2025.
September. Yeah.
And we're learning, it's almost like you said, we're almost at mini trial level
Yes.
here, MINI trial here. We're hearing so much evidence, and we talked to Josh Kolsrud, our legal expert, about this and how much they're going through, why they're going through all this. Is it going to taint the jury?
Yes.
All sorts of questions that come along with it.
And we appreciate your comments here. We certainly will try to get to them and explain if you have any questions or if you just want to make a comment about the case. A lot of things happening here. Okay. Well, we're going to go to a special guest who's joining us right now, Denae Branch. Denae, thank you for being here. Now, you are in the Provo area, correct, in Utah?
Yeah, southern Utah County.
Okay. Yes. Well, thank you for being here. And Denae, you were there the day that Charlie Kirk was killed at Utah Valley University, correct?
Yes.
Now, I know those moments are very painful, especially as you're hearing all what's playing out in court in this evidentiary hearing. But can you talk about that day and those final moments and when you heard the shots?
Yes. There was a lot of excitement for Charlie being there. We praised Jesus. There was a lot of happy energy, a lot of people, and it was horrible. Yeah, it was this very scary, surreal, just the worst day of my life. And I think about his family every day since. My constant prayers are with his family. But yeah, it was horrible.
Hi, Denae. It's Brian chiming in now. Did you know what was going on? Like when you heard those shots, did you know what was happening? And I don't know, at the time, did people look around to try to figure out who the shooter might be at that point?
I feel like it was pretty interesting how, as a whole, we kind of all froze, and then we saw and processed. We heard, and then we saw, and then there was a processing that all happened among everybody together, where we heard, we saw, and then everybody dropped at the same time. Yeah, and then everybody started moving at the same time. The way my son put it is, he said, everything stopped, our hearts stopped, the world stopped, and then the running and the chaos happened. And we didn't know if it was a mass shooting. Yeah, it was terrifying, really. But and then I just prayed for Charlie and was praying as I was running. I saw other people praying, and yeah, it was all kinds of emotions going on for sure.
Denae, and I'm sorry to make you walk back through it, and you just mentioned there that this was the worst day of your life, but I think it's different for all of us who, we're here over in Arizona watching. People around the world saw those last horrible moments of Charlie and his life being taken there. But can you talk about just what you were left with that day and the memories of seeing that actually in person? What was going through your mind? What was on your heart?
Just Charlie's faith. He wanted to be known for his faith, and the courage of his faith. And we were praising Jesus together. Jesus is King, and the crowd cheered. Like we were worshiping together just moments before he passed. And I can't think of a more beautiful way to spend your last few minutes on earth, but to and he did that. He sealed his life with his testimony of Christ, and I think that's beautiful. But yeah, so he was an amazing human and had such a love for God, and I think that showed. And he is remembered for his faith, and I do feel like when I think of Charlie Kirk, that's what I think of. I think of somebody who loved God.
Denae, did they at the time, the authorities question you as a witness, or were there just so many people there that they couldn't possibly get around to anyone? Are you in any way connected to the trial that's coming down the pike?
Yeah, no, there were a handful of people who went in and gave a witness statement. I've talked to other witnesses. We've connected and created a support group for witnesses. So I've heard that not very many people actually ended up giving their statements. I think a lot of people were really traumatized and scared, and it's pretty intimidating, but also a lot of assumption that they got what they needed. I did call 911 when it happened. I actually stayed in the courtyard and got behind a bush and called 911. And they said, if you don't have eyes on the shooter, we need to move on to the next call. But I did know it was a gunshot that I heard and saw, and I had an idea of the direction it came from. And anyway, so yeah, so I did leave that message with the 911 operator. Anyway, yeah.
Denae, we had a question here from one of our frequent viewers, Little Philosophy, asking George Zinn. Now, he's the man that initially tried to say that he was the shooter and was later found obviously had nothing to do with the assassination. But George Zinn claimed to be the original shooter quickly. Did you notice any people in the crowd who seemed out of place that day?
I did not notice that situation. I think, not near that person. And there were a lot of people and a lot of things going on. I actually, looking back, I think the security was, there weren't a lot of officers there. That was the only thing that comes to mind in that area.
Denae, you mentioned earlier the support group. You talked about your son. Can you talk to us a little bit about what is said there and some of the healing that's going on? And in fact, you've talked about how everybody was there to praise God, and then something like this terrible happens at the same event. How do you reconcile all of that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you say the first part of the question again?
Well, you talked about the support group and your son. Just maybe you know, what goes on in the support group, if your son's part of it, how he's doing, how the healing happens there.
Oh, I see. Yes. So I think it's really helpful to talk about with other people that were there. We've become really close really fast. Like, we're really close friends. And if anybody's watching this who was a witness, please reach out and I'd be happy to connect you. That's really helpful. It's helpful to talk about it and process it with friends. And I feel like Charlie gave us really good advice about not being victims, but rising above and choosing to become strong in the face of adversity. And so his words ring with me and stay with me and encourage me. And I find my healing through God. So that's where all my strength and everything I am is. Like Charlie said, I am nothing without Jesus. So I truly believe that as well.
So let's flash forward to this week. We had the evidentiary hearing starting for Tyler Robinson in the court in Provo, Utah. Denae, I know that you did attend one of those days, as well as Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow, was in court, as well as Charlie's parents. And as they were going through some of the evidence, especially what was shown in the tape, Erika did become quite emotional as that was happening, and it had an effect on you. Can you talk about what you saw in court and that special moment that you shared with her?
Yes, of course. So I was sitting in the row in front of Erika Kirk, and I heard some light crying coming from her direction. And my biggest wish, I told everybody, is I just wish I could give her a big hug. I just have so much love and admiration and sorrow for her. A lot of my tears have been thinking of her and her family, his parents. But as I'm sitting in the courtroom, I'm in the row in front of her, and I look back and I see her and Charlie's mother embracing, and I just thought of Charlie and the big hole that they have in their hearts right now, and I started crying. And I was trying really hard not to be obvious, just like leaning forward and trying to wipe the tears off my face. And she noticed, and she tapped me on the shoulder and handed me a tissue. And I lost it, because that's just who Erika is. She was there, and I can't even imagine the grief and the pain that she was in, and she was looking around and still serving somebody else in a time of great sadness. And my other witness friends who were with me, we were all unconsolable at that point. I mean, we weren't making hopefully too big of a scene, but we were all crying and sniffling, because that was such a tender moment and just a testimony example of who Erika is as a person.
We just have a little time today. Can I ask you, though, Erika famously forgave the shooter. What are your thoughts on that? Oh, Denae, looks like we froze up. See if we can get her
lost
back.
Denae on that part. But such a
Technology
stirring
guys. Yeah.
story there.
She was right there.
And to share that moment with Erika in that courtroom this week, as this is almost the 1 year mark where they're reliving all that trauma again with the families, and then that evidence coming out too. It's so hard.
Sounds like
so
they're leaning
tough.
on each other too with support groups and stuff. So that's the right movement to get through this.
Yes, indeed.
All right, we have one more block if people can handle it.
Well,
Can handle the truth, Trent.
yes, it's going to be revealing. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be hot. That's coming up.
How
in
much time
just
do
a
we have,
moment.
guys? Oh,
Okay.
Denae, are
well, we got Denae joining us again, just so we can wrap up. Denae, if you can hear us okay?
we have just a few seconds. Your
Yeah.
thoughts on her
Yeah.
forgiving the
It's
shooter,
all right.
please?
It's the tech. But can you leave us just with a final thought real quick? 15 seconds.
Yeah, of course. Yes, thank you for having me. Yeah, I've been forever changed, and I'm grateful for Charlie Kirk's legacy, grateful for the good work TP USA continues to do, and
Okay.
they have my full support, and thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Denae.
Denae.
Fox 10 Talks, we're back, baby. We've been teasing it all hour long.
And
we're
yesterday.
finally here.
Nudity
Yeah.
galore.
Shamelessness, journalism, all in one piece. And the great thing is you finally got to the bottom,
I cracked the case.
yeah, if you will, of how people are beating the heat all through the valley.
So we have our infamous producer, gotta love him,
Yes.
Michael Edgecombe. And last year, was it? He said, we need to go out to the nudist park and see how they're dealing with the heat. That was last year.
Yes.
And
An
then,
expose, if you will.
You could say that. You could say that. And then they wanted us to go out yesterday, Michael did.
Mm-hmm.
He calls them, and they know him, and now they know me. They know some of me, not all of me.
True.
But,
You're such a tease.
But my good friend Joe Tillman went out there with me last year.
Yes.
And Joe, talk about the great story you edited and how management was like, I don't think so.
Well, here's the thing. And up until last year, that's the first time I've ever been to the resort. I've heard about the resort in the department many times. We've done stories before. And the interesting thing, before Avid, before all the, the linear, it's like, how does a photog shoot it?
Yeah.
So in the early days, how they would shoot it is they would use Vaseline on the lens to make it look like it's blurry.
Wow.
Or they would use pantyhose to put on the lens.
Okay.
So once it's blurry
You
too.
just see blurry. You couldn't even see anything.
No,
in
it's just
focus.
like be blurry because back then we didn't have the internet, we didn't have PCs, laptops.
So
Avid.
regardless of what was shot, there is cleanup involved, if you will.
Correct, a little bit here and there.
Can you
Okay.
position them behind a fig leaf or something like
Well, that's
that?
what I chose to do when I went up there. It's like
Yeah.
because now we have new technology, we can blur stuff easy, but block with hands,
Hands,
block,
yeah.
block with
Well,
this.
okay, but let's talk about the specifics. I know that you're a tech aficionado and really a tech master of the Fox 10 photographic equipment.
Correct.
Would you go fisheye on this one? In this one we
And that's
did.
the
Is
shot
that
got
too
us in
much
trouble.
lens?
Joe, that got us in trouble.
But
right
if you actually, if you break down the shot, there's actually no nudity whatsoever.
None.
It just looks like it.
Yeah.
Because it's very well
It's
placed.
just an illusion.
Right. It's very well placed body parts.
Which we should have, in retrospect, had him lift his other leg, right? Because that got us in trouble. His back leg was lifted, which made it look like you could see everything. If his front leg is lifted, then I think they would have let it run.
Right. They, perhaps.
Perhaps.
But
Regardless, we got a leg up on the competition.
but I mean, the
All right, I'm gonna look up puns on the internet here and see if I can beat Trent. He's pretty
Do
good.
we have enough?
but some of the feedback was classy. They called it as a very classy piece that we did up there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Remember?
really?
Tasteful. Tasteful.
Who said that?
Management.
Our management?
Some people in management. Perhaps.
I didn't hear quite
perhaps.
those words. but
I
okay.
heard it.
Okay.
I'm sure Hook was a big fan.
Oh,
yeah.
Of the
Wouldn't
piece.
stop talking about it.
No,
Yeah.
but
Well, we did have a few other coworkers who were asking a few too many questions. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, really?
For sure. Well,
Why do you want to know exactly where it is and what the hours are?
right. Well, we talked so much about the place, but we haven't named the place yet. Can you tell a little bit more about it?
Shangri-La.
Shangri-La.
Perfect
Nudist
name.
Park.
Nudist Park.
They talked to me yesterday about how you don't say lifestyle.
Right.
You don't say nudist colony. Those are terms you don't. It just gives the wrong impression. It's a family-owned business.
well, it's been there for like
since
family affair.
70 years, right?
59, I think it started.
Yeah, and I think it started with, wasn't he a POW too who started the Shangri-La Ranch?
I think you might be right.
I think it was a POW as well.
And you can be a full-time resident. They say they have a 5-year wait list to be a full-time resident there.
Okay.
It's mainly mobile homes, I'd say, right?
Right, RVs.
RVs.
Do you remember the
We
cat-
don't spend that much time in the home, I would imagine, at Shangri-La.
No, you want to be out and about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Show
you-
your stuff.
Letting it hang.
Yeah.
Let
Right.
it hang out,
Yeah.
baby. Yeah. So, or you can do membership, or you can do daily pass. You know.
But do the people that
dip
do
your
like
toe.
the daily pass? I mean, did they get kind of the stink eye? Like, you're not all in, buddy. You're not really invested.
Wouldn't you? Yeah. Wouldn't you? I'd be more the daily pass guy. I want
Yeah.
to see what this is about before I
Right.
totally commit.
Are you just getting samples? Are you tasting? Are you going to order a full course? That's what we want to know.
Do you remember what the cafe is called? Wasn't
Yeah,
it called?
Bare Buns Cafe.
Bare Buns Cafe.
Wow.
Did you eat there?
I did not eat there.
No lunch break
No.
for Brian Webb.
No, they have all the amenities: pickleball,
Uh-huh.
a game room, a pool, 2 pools. So there's lots to do out there. But
I think pickleball would be a little rough. I think it'd be a little rough. Pickleball.
we got to bend over to pick up the ball.
Well, I'm.
Well, that's only if you're playing catcher. So that's what I hear. Pickleball.
So, and I went. So you went last year. I went yesterday.
Right.
I think with Andrell, another photographer, and I was trying to babysit him a little bit because I didn't want us to get in trouble again. He was good about, because you got to look at also what you're shooting, but also who's walking behind.
Well,
Right.
I've got to know too, though. Was there a little bit of a pep talk in that live truck going up to Shangri-La, where you like, I got to let you know what you're in on, okay? Because this is first time.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit. Are we really doing this kind of vibe? You know, Michael Edgecombe says.
Is this for real? Yeah. Yes. Welcome to Fox 10.
And I'd say more people were there yesterday. So word's
Was
out.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though it was hot as blazes yesterday,
Yeah.
people were out.
How was the
And
crowd?
The crowd was good. You know, it's to be honest, there was one younger 30-ish couple. Most everybody there is, I'd say, retirees.
Okay, well, that's fascinating because you got the one young couple. Does it seem like they're getting a lot of attention from the older folks?
Not necessarily, but they have a great story.
Okay.
He said his RV broke down, and he Googled RV park near me. Shangri-La pops up.
Sure.
He goes there.
Sure.
He's like, what's this all about? Meets this woman who somehow is there. I don't know immediately or it took a while. And now they're in love. They're a couple.
Okay, I don't mean
Love
to say this, but that
blooms.
man is a liar. That man is a bold-faced
Really?
liar. I think he had a plan. I think he executed it well.
Okay.
And had this time to concoct a story,
Okay.
if you will, for Brian Webb. But bravo, sir.
The one strange thing about it, a little bit, in my opinion, Joe, tell me, it's like the naked people come right up to you and they're like, "Hey, how are you?" And you're a little bit like, "Whoa!"
Right. It's like being at a deer farm. It's like, you know, you walk into a deer farm and all these deer just come up and like you know like
Exactly.
You've got
feed
a
me.
strong grip, fella.
Right.
Come
It's
in
like,
for a
yeah.
hug. Like, wow,
Like,
it's just
yeah.
that cute.
Like,
Wow.
yeah. But now, back in the didn't you do like a semi-nude stand-up for a story back in the day? You did.
So back in the day, my very first.
If
it
we
was
could
like,
only
there
roll
was like
the
a
tape.
nude bar thing, and everybody was like, you know, going nuts about this nude bar. And so we go out there, and I can't remember what happened. I don't think they let us in or something. And they said, we'll get. I can't remember, but just to have fun with it. I was behind a bush, like Benny Hill style, pretending. You know, that's what you did when you're 22 years
Wow.
old. So yeah, I don't know. That was it. It was more pretend.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I mean, the people up there are nice.
far as you know.
They're always friendly.
These were the good old days of TV
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there
But
you
they're
go.
friendly. Sometimes a
Yeah.
little too friendly.
I wonder if people could chime in and see if they think that shot was obscene enough that we should not run it on the news.
What
We
shot?
want to know.
The one
We're-
shot. That got us in
Yeah, if
trouble.
only we had a poll question
that
regarding the
whole
footage.
question.
Wow. Oh, well.
Well, okay, Trenton.
There-
Trenton
Okay.
just took it there.
All right. Get a little hand. But
So yeah. So well, that was
that's the
yesterday.
current footage.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
yeah.
She was super sweet.
Yes.
Nice lady came up, wanted to chat.
Oh boy.
Now, was that a dude?
See, I didn't get a good look at it.
I did like the guy using sunscreen, just it seemed on a particular area there.
I
So
didn't.
this is ours coming up.
Yeah.
I pretty much said I'm not going to look down
Right.
at anyone.
This is the shot in particular.
That got us in trouble. Yeah.
That was the shot.
Maintain eye contact.
I maintain
the full
it.
time.
My eyes are up here, Brian.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
that rule.
It's sort
Wow.
of weird at first because when you go there, you're expecting to talk, you know, like you normally talk to people, and you just like try not to look down, you know,
Right.
try not to do this, try
But
not
then
to
again,
that.
if you do see a naked person out in the street, you do look down. You're
Right.
Like, whoa, what's that?
Exactly.
Okay. Wow. Amazing. Well, Joe, if you want to stick with us real quick,
Okay.
we're going to talk what your story was today.
Snakes.
It's
Where you
also
go,
a
be
biting
careful.
topic,
The
snake
all right.
wrangling, if you will.
I have a friend, Mike Pelton, who used to be a reporter. Now he's the kind of media guy in Fountain Hills, and he goes, "You wouldn't believe on all the snake calls we go on
Yeah.
out here. Like many a day, especially in the summer." And I'm like, that sounds like a good story. And the firefighters, it's kind of their responsibility in that town anyway to go get the snake from the house and take him out to the wash or the wilderness, and that's what they do. We tagged along today.
That's so cool.
Do we have our firefighter with us?
Yeah,
we
I
do.
think we do.
Is it Rocky Craig? Rocky, are you there? There he is. I can't hear him. You guys hear him? Rocky, are you there, my man? It's Brian.
Yes, sir.
Hey, there you are. Hey,
Hey.
how are you? Hey, it's Brian
How's it
and
going,
Trenton.
big man?
Hey, yeah, no, we had a good day today. Talked us through. Just the volume of the snakes today. I was there like you guys did 6 before noon. Is that right?
Yeah, we're at 9 now. Kind of slowed down. I shouldn't have said that, but yeah, 9. We're at 9 today, so it's an average day.
Wow. I wasn't expecting to hear that many each day that you guys are going out and responding to. What's the typical call like, if you can say it's typical?
Yeah, typical call. Tones drop. We go out, usually front yard or backyard, walk out to the pool, and it's pretty simple for us. You know, as we walk up, we approach it, we see it, snatch, grab, throw it in the bucket, and walk away.
And Rocky, you kind of learned that on the job training, right? You're expecting to fight fires, and here you go chasing snakes.
Yeah, I'm not too big of a varmint fan. I don't like snakes, spiders, you know, but it's pretty common sense. You know, it's this rattlesnake. Just be careful and, you know, common sense. So, but it's still, there's, we were on a couple calls with Brian that were, the snakes were pretty vicious. That one there was pretty tame, but they can get mean and aggressive. So, yeah, you know.
None of them are happy to see you, Rocky, but that second one was a little ornery, wasn't he? He was the one under the house, right, by the pool pump?
Yeah, right there. It was.
Oh, there he is.
The pool guy found him, and he went back in there and was doing his thing, and he heard that rattle, and he took the rest of the day off. He was quite shooken from that.
I know.
He was pretty aggressive.
So we do have a question in here in our live chat from our viewers. Have the calls for snakes increased over the years, especially recently?
I think they say about average. Last year to this year, it was, you know, I think 1,100 fiscal year. So they really haven't gone up or down. We release them back into the wild, so we're not killing them, but you know, there are some that we tend to dispose of.
I get it. Hey, Rocky, I get it. Nice language there. Thin the herd, you said earlier. We got about 30 seconds, Rocky. Just if anybody sees a snake, just the obvious, call you guys, call someone a professional. Is that the plan?
Yeah, keep an eye on it. A lot of people call and then they just walk away and then we can't find it. So, you know, they need to watch it, keep an eye on it from a distance. And then when we show up, we know exactly where it's at.
Awesome stuff. Rocky Craig, firefighter in Fountain Hills. Thank you for today and this afternoon. Had a good time out there.
Thank you. Take care.
You, sir. Take care. Yeah,
Wow.
quite a day. I mean,
Awesome. Sounds like
he's a brave man. Yeah.
You've had a hell of a roll this week.
Oh, man, I'm on a roll. I need a break.
Yeah.
I just got off vacation. I need another one.
Heard it here.
And being with Joe Tillman, that's maybe the more stressful of it all.
Probably.
Snakes, Joe Tillman.
It's not about the news stories. It's about the friends you make along the way.
100